So now I'm going to start talking about something called the just noticeable difference. What is just noticeable difference? So we talked about something called beats. Do you remember what beats were? When two frequencies were brought together, at a certain point, they constructively interfered and then they destructively interfered. Just noticeable difference is when you purposefully put one frequency over the other and ask people to see whether they could hear the change. Most people will hear the change once it reaches over 1 hertz. But musicians, through ear training, can train their critical bands to be tinier and tinier in such a way that they can hear very, very clearly the differences between notes. And just noticeable difference, or frequency JND, is the smallest measure that humans will be able to decipher when frequency changes. Again, remember, it's going to depend on who the listener is. So a trained ear or a trained brain, a trained person will be able to decipher, will have a JND that's smaller. Whereas a person like a normal person will not be able to do as much. Experimentally, it is found that the frequency just noticeable difference is between 0.5 and 0.6 over the range of audible frequencies. What is audible frequency? From 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That's our audible range. So if like, let's say we changed it by like 0.5%, most people can hear that difference. Okay, now what does it depend on? So JND depends on, of course, the actual frequency that you're hearing. It depends on how loud the sound is. It depends on how long you were exposed to it, so the duration of tone. And it also depends on the suddenness of frequency change. So if you hear something for a really long time and then it slowly changes, you may not be able to decide. Well, musicians can. Most people cannot. And the musical training of the ear, right, of course, and what method you're using for measurement. So all of these factors play a role in order to determine what the JND is for a particular person. JND can also be termed as the limit of discrimination, which means it is the minimum frequency separation which a human, an individual, can perceive. So for low frequency, it's about 7%, and for high frequencies, it's about 15%. Musicians are better at it than other people. Like they can tell the difference between the notes very clearly.